by the power you carry at welterweight?
I mean, I don't know if he'll be surprised. I mean, he's the bigger guy, so I'm sure he's sparring and fought some big dudes as well. I don't know about that, but I think he will be surprised at the fact that I'm not a big guy naturally, but still carry a lot of power. A lot of people underestimate the power. When they face me, they don't think it's much. They don't see my physical size, as a threat, but they feel the power once they're in the ring, and they definitely change their mind.
What was it about Spence that made you say, I want to fight this guy? I can take this guy.
He's the best. He's the best guy right now. He's referred to as the best in the division, and if I want to make a statement, if I want to make a mark, then I gotta beat the best, and that's why I decided to go after him.
Sounds good. I like
Mikey, we're talking to Robert, and I've actually had this experience myself. But when the fight first was announced, you were clearly the underdog, and people kind of answered questions kind of in that light. But more recently, I've gotten a lot more, like just yesterday, Sugar Ray Leonard, we asked him, and he said he picked you, and we said why? He said because he's Mikey. I mean, are you getting a lot more support closer to the fight?
I think people are starting to analyze the fight a little more in depth and looking at more than just the weight and size. At first glance, that's the first thing everybody sees. The size advantage. The weight. Me moving up from 135 and remembering that I started at 126. So that's almost insane for anybody to think. It's possible for me to overcome. This next challenge. But once they start seeing, that there's a lot more to boxing. When you see the boxing IQ, the ring generalship, the footwork, the speed, the defense, all the other things that at first no one sees, they start to realize, this is a much better fight than we thought, and Mikey does have more chances than we thought, and Mikey can pull it off, and eventually it's changing the idea and the opinions of a lot of media. But I don't really worry about people's opinions. I don't let that affect my performance at all. It's not even fuel for me. Everybody has their opinion. That's it. I know what I got to do. I know what I'm capable of doing. I did all the work. I did all the sparring, all the training necessary to be in the best shape and to win my fight.
Will you talk to us about some of those skill sets that you just mentioned, that you plan on taking advantage of come the 16th?
Look, I believe I'm a better fighter overall. And when it comes to footwork, I think I have better footwork. When it comes to speed, I think I have better speed. When it comes to defense, I have better defense. Timing, I have better timing. All these other things are what will help me win my fight. And the only thing that he has, going for him that's apparent is the size. The height, reach, weight, which is a big challenge. But I have everything to overcome that. You overcome all that with everything else that I just mentioned, and that's what I'm betting on. Now, I've always said I'm better than him, not by a lot, but just enough to beat him, because he also reminds me of myself a lot in a lot of ways. The way he fights, the way he is, he does everything well. Good footwork, good speed. He controls the fight at his distance that he likes to have. A lot of ways resemble the way I fight, but I still feel that I'm better in every one of those ways, and that's what I'm betting on.
When you told him that in the face-off thing, did you see any reaction from him? Did he, I don't know, what was?
No, we had the face-off, discussion, conversation, and we both showed a lot of respect to each other. I told him he does remind me of myself a lot, but I'm better in every way. But then he answered that, he has the confidence that he has a lot more than just size going for him. He can also box. He can also use his footwork if he has. He can also, move around and box. So he also understands that there's a lot more to boxing, to winning, than just strength and size. And if he believes he has, more than that, he's probably going to try to do that and show me that he's much more than just a strong guy walking forward. I showed him respect. He showed me respect. He has confidence in his boxing. I have confidence in my boxing. That's just, I keep telling people, that's just recipe for a great fight.
Mikey, when they first announced it, did you envision by at this point you'll be the favorite or 50-50? Or did you think they'll still doubt you?
I didn't pay attention to that. I know, like I said, at first, glance, everybody would, pick him. But, things are starting to change a little more and more, and people are giving him more chances now than before. But I still don't feel that I would ever be the favorite, because he is a great champion at his natural weight. You know, that's something, you know, to really consider, you know, when you're picking sides, and everybody seems to, you know, go in his direction, and that's totally fine. I have no problem with that.
You're 39-0. You're a 4-division champion. Is there anything that people don't give you credit for that you do in the ring that you think like you do very well?
You know, I win my fights, you know, and I make it easy for myself. You know, I want to make it as easy as possible. You know, I need to make the fight the easiest for me, but that doesn't mean that I don't get enough credit. I think this fight would give me more credit because I'm challenging something so much bigger than ever. You know, where no one is really originally giving me a chance, and you know, a victory over Spence would definitely give me that recognition.
During that face-off, and you know, there's been weigh-ins too, where once it's near fight time, you seem to change a little. You lower your brow at him. You told Spence to his face, "I'm gonna beat you in a couple." Where does that come from? That fire? Who's that, Mikey Garcia?
The mindset changes. You know, when you first, you know, meet someone, you know, 6 months before the fight, you know, you're in a different mindset. You know, now we're at that face-off. We're only a few weeks away. You know, less than a month away, and so the mindset changes, the mentality. You know, your approach is different. You're deep in training. You know, you're sparring. You know what's coming in a few weeks. So that attitude changes. You know, and that's just the way it is. You know, same thing with the weigh-in. Now we're only a couple hours away. You know, it's just the way it is. But I'm always, you know, at least I'm always aware of everything as far as being respectful towards him, because I know what I'm also facing. I know I ain't facing no bum. You know, he's an undefeated world champion. You know, one of the best pound for pound fighters. You know, that's something to really admire also. And although I have all the confidence, he has all the confidence. You know, we're both showing respect towards one another.
You know what Richard told me before? That your next opponent, you know who he said?
Who'd say?
Wilder.
I told you I'm not going to be part of it.
We don't know who the next opponent might be.
Well, how were the ab workouts, being that you hadn't really done much of that before?
Everybody asks about that. It's true. I hardly ever do any core training or any ab work. I have in the past for other fights, but I'm talking about, you know, 5-6 years ago maybe. It's been a long time. So for this fight, we did have to, you know, introduce it again and you know, adjust, you know, the training a little bit. We are, like I said, we're moving up in weight. Everybody gets surprised that I'm gonna do abs or that I'm working differently. Well, shit, if I'm up in weight, I better do something.
Right? Yeah.
You know, it's part of the training, you know, to move up in weight. You know, you have to change training a little bit. And that's why we did. We went to Snack, Victor Conte, and we worked well. And we kept some of that same routine here in the gym. I don't expect to be physically bigger. I don't expect to be this monster all of a sudden. You know, no.
You're not ripped. You don't have the summer bod going right now.
I'm just gonna be a little bit bigger so that I can be at a welterweight, so I can also take those punches, you know, and I can get that size required to fight at welterweight. But I don't want to lose my speed. I don't want to lose my reaction time. I don't want to lose my explosiveness, you know, which a lot of times other fighters do. They bulk up way too much, they gain too much muscle, and then they become slow and sluggish. I don't want to do that.
Have you felt your physical difference when you're sparring kind of these bigger guys? Have you felt like, you know, I can't put a little more weight on these guys? I can.
I felt the same, but you see the results. You know, so I feel the same. Honestly, I'll tell you, I feel the same as every other time. But you see the results, and that's when you realize that, you know, this work has worked. You know, the type of work that I'm doing is actually there. The results are there. When you see the numbers, you know, that the blood exams, the tests, all that, you know, they test for everything, and you see the results. You see the improvements. When you see the sparring sessions, you know, and I'm sparring much bigger guys, but if it wasn't for the size, apparent size disadvantages and changes, you wouldn't tell who's a stronger guy. You know, I'm holding my own against some very, very big men, and they will tell you too that, you know, the power's there. So I see that. You know, I feel the same, but then I see it in the ring, and that's what tells me and gives me the confidence that I'm ready as I could ever be.
Mikey, you also said after that face-off that at first Errol was saying it's going to be an easy night, or it's going to be a short night, and then by the end he was saying it could be. And just like people are saying, as the fight's getting closer, people are analyzing it more and seeing it more your way. Do you see any change in Spence's confidence as the fight got closer?
Well, I don't know if it was maybe just you know, wrong choice of words for him to use, or maybe he just, you know, messed up and didn't really understand what he was saying himself. I don't know. But at first he was saying that it was going to be a quick night. You know, that it was going to be a quick night. Then a few words later, a few conversations later, and he's saying, well, if I catch you, it could be a short night. If I catch you, you know. So I just reminded him, okay, I mean, now you're changing your words. You know, at first you said you will catch me, you will make this a short night. Now you're maybe, you know, double guessing, you know, second guessing yourself, saying if you catch me. I mean, that's not quite the same.
You got a direct message for Errol Spence?
I got nothing. I mean, what kind of message? I got nothing.
Is it possible though that maybe like a lot of us, he was underestimating you, and now that the fight's coming closer, he realized it's not going to be so easy?
Maybe at first, you know, he didn't even take me serious because he said, you know, it's too small. You know, 135. It's never going to happen. But then as, you know, things progress, and maybe now, you know, maybe looking at video, you know, stuff like that, analyzing fights, maybe he realizes that it's not going to be as easy as he maybe once thought. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, you guys ask him.
But how are you going to counter the body attack? He might, right there with Canelo and other guys, is one of the best body punches.
He's got great body attack. He's got great body punches, especially with that left hand of his. He's really, in a way, mastered, you know, how to throw that left hand. Very deadly. But like I said, I'm prepared to do whatever it takes to win. I'm prepared to do everything, you know, to hold my own and defend and, you know, fight back. I mean, you guys are all gonna be very surprised when you guys see me in the ring and you know, see how effective I am. That's what I'm really excited for, to show everybody, you know, that I'm much more than you guys have ever expected and ever imagined.
Because Robert was saying you're not just going to box, you're probably going to pick a few moments to really bang with him and make a statement.
I mean, the fight can go in many different ways, you know. I mean, I gotta be prepared. I gotta be prepared to do whatever it takes to win. You know, if that means I box 12 rounds, then I box 12 rounds. If that means we have to brawl for a few rounds or for the entire night, I'll be ready to do that also. I mean, we're prepared to do whatever it takes, you know, and we did all the training here. We did all the sparring here. There was days where I was brawling, where I was pushing my opponents back, you know, just to be in shape for that. There's days where I was boxing on the outside, beautifully just boxing, counterpunching, using my speed, my head movement, defense, you know, so I'll be ready to box that way. There's days where I was mixing it up, a few rounds of this, a few rounds of that. You know, I'm ready to do whatever it takes. You know, I think everybody would just be surprised at how well I fight and how well I make this, you know, go my way.
You see what you started, Canelo's talking about moving up to 175 and fighting Kovalev. On he's on his Mikey Garcia right now. Well, I don't know. What do you think about that?
I mean, everybody has their own agenda, their own goals, you know, for their careers. If others want to stay at one weight class or two weight classes at most and become champion there for a long reign, that's great too. I mean, there's no need to be moving up in weight so much. You know, all of a sudden people maybe want to move up in weight. I don't think that has anything to do with me. I mean, a lot of fighters have done it. I think a big trend started with Manny Pacquiao moving up in so many weight classes, and other reporters or analysts won't give credit to a certain fighter unless he moves up in weight, because they compare everything to Manny Pacquiao or De La Hoya or the Mayweathers that did it. But not everybody does that. And back in time, it was almost impossible for anybody to move up so many weight classes, you know. But it was very, very well accepted when a fighter would reign champion in one weight class for a long period of time, you know, defending his title constantly. And that was applauded and very impressive. Now it seems like the media sometimes doesn't give enough credit to a champion unless he moves up in weight. Well, I mean, maybe he just doesn't need to move up in weight, or maybe he just can't move up in weight. The reason why I'm doing it is because I want to show everybody I'm a fucking badass. I'm taking anybody. I don't care. That's why I'm doing it. You know, I want to show everybody I'm better than you ever expected. There's a lot more into my game than you ever thought. You know, and in order for me to do it, in order for me to show you that, I need to take on these challenges. I need to show you guys, you know, what I can do against a top guy like Errol Spence. If I fight anybody else, you guys won't give me enough credit, and I won't deserve the credit because I'm beating someone that never should have been in the ring with me. But fighting someone like Errol Spence, another undefeated champion, that's what's gonna give me that recognition.
You sound like you can't wait for the post-fight press conference to look at everyone in the face and be like, I told you.
Look, it's just one of those fights that doesn't come often, you know. It doesn't come around often. And to achieve what I want, I need this kind of fight, you know. Like I remind people, you know, yeah, we started at 126. I had my fights there, 26 champion, 30 champion, currently, you know, lightweight. I was champion at super lightweight. You know, you go back last year, I fought Lipinets at 140, you know, an undefeated champion. Then I came down to unify at 135 against Robert Easter, another undefeated champion. You know, now I'm going up all the way to welterweight to fight another undefeated champion. That's 3 undefeated champions back to back in 3 separate, different categories. You know, who else is doing that? You know, so that's the kind of stuff I'm doing. And then you go back to Dejan, he was also undefeated. You know, and when I beat Salido, he was #1 in the division. He had losses, but he was #1 in the division. You know, I mean, that's the fighter that I am. I want to fight the best. You know, and if I don't do that, then I won't get the credit, or I won't get where I want to be. You know, what good is a title if people won't remember you?
That's very admirable. I think it's very commendable. Going to the fight is next week. We got a week and a half until the fight. What's your schedule like? Are you still training? Are you training all the way up until Wednesday before the fight? What is your schedule like leading up to the fight?
We're still training. We're actually still sparring this week, a couple of rounds. We did 10 rounds yesterday. I don't know what my brother has in store for tomorrow, Wednesday, and Friday for sparring, but we're still sparring. Next week we will still work out, but we won't be doing any more sparring, of course. What we will do is focus on just keeping the speed, keeping the reaction, the agility that we're going to use. I probably work out all the way till Thursday. I mean, maybe even have a light workout on Friday just to stretch out. I mean, I just want to make sure that I'm not tight, that I'm not sluggish and slow. If you tend to rest too much, you know, your muscles, you know,
Get too relaxed.
This
Is the
is the last
training, is the
question.
schedule, is that on your brother, or do you guys talk about it?
We talk about it. We talk about
come
it.
to agreement on
We
that?
come to an agreement. You know, he asked me how I feel. I mean, he has a schedule mapped out with my dad. They map out the weeks, the days, you know, ahead of time. But then we try to hit that every single time, unless I feel a little different, or if I happen to be a little tired from the sparring one day, then we might adjust, you know, the next day. But we talk a lot every day. We try to hit, like I said, those targets. But if anything is not where I want to be, then we'll make some adjustments. But we'll still be working out.
Got it. Thank you.
Thanks,
Looking
guys.
forward to just lastly, are you looking